Welcome to another behind the scenes of Level 1 Restoration video. This episode we have a 1972 Pontiac Trans Am, and this car came into our shop. We were thinking it was going to be an older restoration Fluff, and it is, but it's also a preservation car. So we didn't really know, the history or anything exactly about this car when we got it. But once it's in here, we're starting to recognize that all the upholstery is original, almost everything under the hood is original, and the underneath of the car, which was just all painted black. We didn't know what was underneath of the black paint. Was it sandblasted and painted black, or just what was that? And we were thinking that maybe we would have to strip all that black paint off and paint it the red oxide primer color like it would have been new. But we have our dry ice blasting system here, and we normally will strip undercoating and just dirt and debris with dry ice blast, but we gave it a try, and as it turns out, it worked great on this car. Stripped all that old black aerosol can paint off of the underneath of this car and left it with a beautiful, unrestored, original undercarriage. So this car kind of came in as an older restoration Fluff, and it's kind of now a preservation car. With the exception of a complete repaint, this is really an amazing car. And in addition to it being a 72 Trans Am, which is special enough, it's a 4-speed with factory air conditioning and quite a few other nice options. It has a rear window defroster and tilt wheel and a lot of really good stuff. All right. As we look at the interior of this car, I'm going to read off of this reproduction window sticker this car has. It has a pretty good list of options. We have, this is a super standard one though, an AM radio. You'd be amazed to know really that these cars could come without a radio. That was a $65 option just for an AM radio. The 8-track tape player was $130. A center console between the front seats, $57. This car has the drip rail moldings and the belt line molding, which is at the top of the door, and then the drip rail is above the glass at the roof area there. That's a nice option on these cars. This car had mats for both front and rear. Oftentimes you'll see these cars with only front mats. Tinted glass, which is a pretty normal thing to have when you have air conditioning. They kind of go hand in hand, but not necessarily always. A rear window, an electric defrost rear window. That's a pretty rare option on this car. And power locks too. Without power windows is a little bit unusual. Usually you see power windows and power locks. And then it has a light group as well as the air conditioning on this car. This car's sticker price in 1972 was $5,281. The options added up to $902. Pretty darn expensive car in 1972, and that's one of the reasons why this is a pretty rare car. All right, so under the hood of this Trans Am, we've got a couple of things that jump out at me, typical of older restorations. The hood hinges are just completely painted black. This would have been a phosphate plating. The hinge would have been one plating and the spring would be another. Scooting over here to the master cylinder. This is a replacement master cylinder. The booster though, however, is all original. The wiper setup, everything is good there. We have an original hose here, an original GM hose. Appears that the alternator and the radiator and the shroud and the AC unit, all of those things are original and largely unrestored on this car. So we're going to detail all of this stuff out, just clean it is really what we're going to do. We're going to address the hinges and the master cylinder. The rest of it is just going to get a really good thorough cleaning. All right, so another thing we're going to address on this would be the tires, of course. Goodyear Eagle GT is probably a good tire, but for this car, we're going to go with the original reproduction Polyglass GT or Firestone tire to give the car really the authentic look. Another fun thing on this car, which really speaks to the survivorness and the older restoration type is this North Carolina, registration tag here, 5 of 1990. For an old guy like me, that seems like not that long ago, but really that is quite an old sticker on there. Likely the last time this car was registered. Okay, looking in the trunk compartment here, a really great detail on this car is an original spare. I haven't checked the date, but I believe, and by the looks of it, that would be this car's original spare tire. Really a testament to the survivor aspect of this car. Some of the other things that we're going to address in this area right here that really just older, shoddy work that we can clean up pretty easily. A lot of the hardware is painted over. The trunk lid bolts would have been painted, but the spoiler bolts would not have been painted. This filler panel piece, I'm going to think that probably wasn't painted, but I'm going to have to look into that because there is a chance this was painted on the car. I'll just have to educate myself on that. We've done these cars before, but there's a lot of details in my head and they can't all find a home in there. Another thing that we're going to address is the trunk latch mechanism here. It's just all blacked out, and I don't believe that is the correct detail for that as well. So not a lot of work to do in the trunk compartment, and a couple of nice surprises. Really shows this is a really solid surviving car with one repaint. Here we have the follow-up of this 1972 Trans Am that we did what we call around here an older restoration fluff. So this car came to us, we didn't really know exactly what we were going to get. We didn't see the car in advance, but the reason it was acquired, this is another Brothers Collection car, is it's a 72 Trans Am. Obviously it's Lucerne blue, 4-speed car, fully numbers matching car. It has air conditioning, which is kind of a big deal, and quite a few other nice options. So what we did to this car is we did some dry ice blasting on the bottom. We removed a lot of just painted, it was painted black under there. We talked about that in the front part of this video. And then we polished it. We ended up repainting the nose, and the park light surrounds were not done correctly, and we painted those as well. We added some new old stock hinges, rebuilt the carburetor, did a deep clean, just cleaned the engine compartment really, and just, changed a few things that were just wrong on this car. We added reproduction tires to this car as well, which helped it out tremendously. So now the car really runs good. It's looking a whole lot better, and hopefully the customers are going to be real happy with this car. Okay, so under the hood of this car, we didn't really do a whole lot, like I said, other than clean it. We did find a set of new old stock hood hinges for this car, which, that'll always stay with the car. If they want to go way deeper with this car one day or give it a total restoration, that was money well spent, I think, for them. The rest of it's just in order. We made it function a lot better. Someone had the spark plug wires and the distributor all in the wrong place. It still ran. The plugs were fouled out, which is typical for a car sitting. It had nasty old gas in it. Now this car starts and runs and drives really good, and it certainly does look better in general than it did when we got it. And we didn't spend a whole lot of time on this car, really. Probably not a whole lot more than 1 to 2 weeks total on this car. So an older restoration fluff. Some are easier, some are more in-depth, and we'll have a lot of these coming up in the near future to show you some before and afters on.